Bismillah wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man walah. My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu Alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And welcome again with Ibn Kiyoshi. Thank you so much for joining us
Thank
again.
you.
We always enjoy having you, absolutely.
Oh,
And we learn a lot from you here as much as it is in the dojo.
okay. That's good. That's good.
So this time around, I want to talk about how practical is Yondo Jiu Jitsu. And what I mean practical is for real life, not only for competitions or for working out with your peers in
Yeah.
the dojo.
Well, here goes my thing. And like I said in the video a lot, timing is very important. Practicality becomes how much do you train with some intensity? Because even I have students. Some students, not every student's going to be as good as all my students. And my top students, it is very practical. But my students who don't apply themselves, like anybody. I mean, we have people that go to the best universities. Does everybody come out with the same grades? But is it a bad university? So it is practical when applied correctly. Like a glue. If a glue is used in the wrong format, will it actually adhere to anything? No. So you got to make sure, even though it is practical. Now, some things are like, I hate to, and I took Aikido, but I remember when I took Aikido, they told me to act like I have a big rock in my hand, start to throw it, and then walk forward. And I was like, why? Who attacks like that? So if I give you impractical scenarios, then it's not practical. Funny enough, today I had somebody come to the class and I asked them, did they learn self-defense? And they said yes. And I said, okay, well, what happens if somebody grabs your hair? She goes, wait, they never taught us anything. See, I try to teach them practical things. Girls will have their hair
Exactly,
grabbed.
yeah.
I teach little kids, somebody grabs your hand, this is the way you get away. That's what people do too. So it has to be practical. Like if I teach a little kid and a girl how to defend a wild swing and a cross, that's not the attack that's coming to them. So everything has to line up to what would happen.
Makes sense. Makes
But
perfect
I
sense.
still say everything has to be applied correctly for it to work. It's not just the martial art, it's the martial artist.
Got it. And the other thing is around practicality. This is something that always bugs me, especially when we're working out and I see lots of, like, even sometimes even of high ranks,
Yeah.
black belt or something. If it's a female, I know she will not be able to like stand. I'm not that advanced,
Yeah.
but she will not be able to stand in front of me.
Yeah.
Whether it's punching,
Yeah.
kicking, or grappling and taking down and submitting.
Yeah.
But in that case, how practical is it for a female to defend herself against a male, whether trained or untrained male?
Okay, so against a trained male, anything against somebody trained is always harder, no matter what.
Yeah.
So that just makes it more difficult. I have this rule. I call it the 85% rule. A woman has to have at least 85% of whatever the man's muscle mass or body mass is to make it even close to realistic. So meaning like if you went against a woman, and I'm not saying your size, I'm talking about muscle mass. With muscle mass is different than we understand.
Yes.
Somebody could be 5'7" and have very low muscle density and be very pillowy and fat. That's not muscle mass. But then you could be the same person that's 5'7" and has a different muscle mass. So some women, if the trained woman who's a trained fighter and is close to your range, she should be able to defend herself, make space, get away. Now, is she going to be able to totally dominate you and beat you? I don't see it I should say, I think it's going to be the rarity and the exception rather than the standard. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So the standard is the good standard would be she should be able to what? Make space, somewhat defend herself. The reality is most men are stronger than women. Most men are going to be able to hit harder than women.
Even the grip.
Yeah, the grip, everything.
Yeah,
everything.
Man's grip is way.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Now, I've seen some women who, if she's like, say, a mountain climber has a fantastic.
I mean, yeah,
but
that's a rare.
That's the exception. You
That's
know what I'm
exactly
saying?
right. That's exactly
So,
right.
majority of the women. That's why, like, when I teach a women's self defense class, I tell them I'm not going to teach anything special. We're going to try to make it very simple, and I'm trying to make you get safe and space. You're looking for 6 feet of space between you and a guy. That's what I'm trying to get. Guess what I'm not trying to have them do? I don't want you there to be able to hold him down and wait for the cops. You're gonna eventually lose. He'll eventually get up and start beating you. You want at least 6 feet so you can turn 6 feet into 12 feet into I'm safe.
And to get out of there.
Yeah, because I believe in that. 6 feet, then 12 feet, then you're safe. When you're 12 feet away from a guy, you're fairly safe. 6 feet, a good enough person can lunge 6 feet and grab you. You know, so you need to get away from being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 feet away and now build it into twice that size. Sorry.
No, that's good. And you know what makes it even worse? Females typically have long hair.
Oh, yes.
And they like to show off that long hair.
Well, you know,
I mean, they have the right. I'm not against it.
Yeah.
But that goes against, that makes self-defense even more harder.
Oh, yes. So like the FBI, they did like this profile of all the rapists. Number one thing a rapist will look for is hair that is longer than your shoulder so they can grab and hold.
Exactly.
One of the first techniques I teach all girls are how to mitigate someone holding your hair. And notice I said mitigate. I didn't say what? Beat.
Yeah.
It's just to kind of slow that person down so you can get to the next stage. You know, like in jiu-jitsu, a lot of times we say changing the position before the submission. Don't try to just go for the, submission. You got to change change the position before you get there. So, that having long hair, it's not, I mean, I can't tell a woman not to have long hair.
I'm not saying that either.
They need to know what to do when somebody grabs it. It is what guys look for when they want to do bad things to women.
I think, and I'm not trying to make this too long, but should maybe a female not put herself in harm's way to begin with? Should not go in areas where something bad could happen, knowing that she is vulnerable.
Yeah.
With a long dress maybe, or dressed for the night and long hair and all of that.
Well, here goes the thing. There's some cultural things. It all depends on what culture the women are from. My thing is stay in groups. I've said this before. You've heard me say this. Yeah. If there's 2 of you, it's harder for one guy to do something. If there's 3 of you, it becomes much easier. If there's 4 of you, I mean, now you can really, because I will tell you the honest truth. I'm a strong guy. I can fight 1 guy. I'm not even worried. 2 guys, 3 guys, it's starting to get bad. 4 men of my size, I'm going to lose. And I'm trained to fight. And I've fought. Now, I'm going to hurt a few of these guys.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But,
it's not going to be an easy fight for them.
But at the end of the day, if you stay in groups, you're safer, right? My wife literally is in another state, and she called me and I said, remember, don't go out without somebody from your job. Walk back together, and make sure that you guys are safe. Once you're in your room, call me right away. I always hate that when she's out there, but I always talk, I'm always talking that, and women's safety is very important to me because I was a baby of like five girls. They used to call me their little big brother because they'd come to my house, see all these trophies, but I would always like bully the boyfriends, like, hey, get out of here. You can't sit on the couch. Put your feet up. All the other stuff. They walked in and they had their foot on the coffee table.
I do not like you.
Yeah. I was the aggressor. But anyway, when it comes to women's self-defense, I truly believe in almost every aspect, it's more space mitigation and control versus my guys. I want you to be able to put this guy down. I want when you throw him to the ground, he may be concussed. He may be knocked out. And I've even told my best students, what happens with the day you decide to do your best judo throw and this guy was a wrestling champion? You just thought your throw that was going to work. It didn't work. You're going to throw a football player who's used to getting knocked around all the time. You never know what can happen.
Yes.
And same thing with the women. All right. So when it comes to female self-defense, the biggest thing is, I believe in mitigation, not like being able to, and I mean, when I say mitigate, you mean like
not domination.
Yeah, not dominating, not fighting them, not being able to hold them down and possibly wait for the cops to come. More like, now you've made that space. I have this rule. I call it, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12, meaning you want to get away from the being 1 foot away, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And after 6, you should really make the biggest leap to 12 feet. And after 12 feet, you're safe, because you're really not safe even at 6 feet. I know people that can leap and grab you in 6 feet, and then get to you. But if somebody's 12 feet away from you, you should be safe at that point, and then getting away. My other big thing is that they should be they should try, like I said, we were talking about earlier, like traveling in groups, making sure that you're safe. The other thing was, I'm not sure if I was able to cover it, but a woman of a certain size. Oh, you're good.
Yeah.
Of a certain size, meaning, like, I believe what I call the 85 rule. If a woman's like roughly 85% of her body mass, and I mean her muscle mass, is that of possibly the guy she's going to fight, she might be able to,
And might.
yeah. And like I said, remember, now she has to be trained.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm gonna tell you this though. If you've ever seen some video of some Kyokushin female black belts, that's a different level.
I mean, that's the exception.
Yeah, that's an exception.
There you go.
So, but is that the regular rule that most women you meet? No. So like I said, it's a different ball game.
Yeah, but it's interesting you mentioned the groups. Which is good for men and women, like to be in groups, and in Islam, women are not allowed. It's like, have you heard the word haram?
Haram, yes.
Haram means it's prohibited, meaning it's haram for a woman to go out alone, without a male family member, like brother, husband, father, and so forth, and then even uncle. Or if none of them available, then she can go with other women.
Yeah,
like you said, groups. So there would be a group of women rather than being alone, which is an easier target.
Well, yeah. I mean, first again, woman alone is an easy target. Wearing headphones make you an easy.
Even
Like,
worse.
I only even when I'm walking my dog and doing everything, I listen with one ear.
Yeah.
I only put one ear in.
Smart.
I'm always that way with my headphones. Looking down your phone, announcing what car you're gonna go to. Like, I always think, why do people bip right before they get to the car, and they start to open the doors and that's the worst thing. So you open up the.
They're given
They're giving all these heads up. Yeah,
exactly.
So there's some basic things you got to know. Be aware, look around, do those things. But that's my big takeaway.
And then the other thing about females in general, and I have nothing against females. They call me misogynist or something. I'm not, but it's a self-defense here. So for a female, she would have other disadvantages, like long hair,
Yes.
maybe dresses, and where they can't really run or fight or kick or even punch, maybe. And if you remember the nails, they have long nails, even so they can't even close their fist to punch hard enough.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is, some people think that long nails, you can scratch somebody and that's going to be good enough. I've been scratched and it only aggravated me, so I wouldn't say scratching is a great self-defense.
Unless it's in the eye, maybe.
You have to catch me right in the eye. But not being able to punch or grapple or do those things. But having long hair is one of the things that, like, the FBI profiler said rapists always look for. They look for ladies with long hair so they could pull them by the hair, start to beat on them, and then, like, threaten them and do whatever. And that's one of those things that, what first thing we teach women when they come to our classes, how to control the hand that is holding your head. Because if he has a handle, but can you control the hand that has the handle? So we teach that right away. That's one of our very first techniques that we teach almost all our girls. Because, like what me and you, like, first thing, nobody's grabbing our hair, right? But
nothing.
Guys are going to do a wild swing at us. They're going to, like, it's going to be a wild swing or 1-2 cross. That's what I teach guys.
Exactly.
What I teach little kids, or somebody's going to try to grab you, take you away from your parents. You learn how to roll your hands up, make a kick, make a lot of noise.
That's right.
slow the guy down. I never tell my parents, no, the kids are not going to be able to, like, just the way I don't think a 5-year-old is not going to beat a 35-year-old. I don't think a woman that's maybe 120 pounds is going to beat a 185-pound guy who has a certain amount of muscle mass, and you don't.
That's
It
right.
just
It's just
it
the
does it
nature.
doesn't work. That's why fightings have weight classes.
That's right.
That's why anytime they would have one of these, I call them the sideshow of a woman doing MMA against men. It doesn't work well, but every once in a while you can meet a very well trained woman. If you put the right weight size, it might work. But self defense isn't about that. There's no chance of we're going to set you up with the perfect person to fight against you that day. You got to always be training that the guy is stronger than you, smart. You know, we always say the guy's stronger than you, right? And maybe faster than you, but definitely dumber than you because you've trained more.
That's right.
I mean, no, because that's our unfair advantage. We're smarter than them.
Yes.
Because think, if he's going to attack me, he should have, well, okay, this guy looks like he can handle himself. He had to either be bigger or stronger and think that he could do it.
Yeah, yeah. You know, for Muslim females, you know, they wear hijab.
Yep.
And it covers the hair, which is good. But it you know presents another problem, which is the hijab itself. It can be used to pull them instead of the hair. So
I was saying,
they need to stay in groups.
Yeah. That was the thing. We had a class. We were teaching black belt class about when somebody pulls over your hood and they start beating on you. Oof. The first thing you got to do is, believe it or not, get that hoodie off of you. Now you don't have that option, you know, and I don't even know how the hijab works. Could it be a suffocating issue?
It could. Some of them, yes.
Yeah, I don't know how well it's wrapped, and it's haram to probably take that off in front of her. Now, when you're fighting to save your life, I think everything.
I mean, yeah, it's emergency. You can,
everything is viable when you're trying to save
everything on the table.
Yeah, everything's on the table when you're saving your life, and then right after that, go back to whatever you had to do. But it's hard, so let's not put ourselves in hard scenarios. Again, I'm not making a sweeping statement that women have to be locked up and you can only, but it's a better choice to go out in groups.
Yes.
You know, when a guy sends, no matter what religion he's in, if he's sending out his daughter to the mall, trust me, he probably wants his daughter to go out in a group with a bunch of friends to make it safer. Even though they shouldn't, you know, even though, like, you know, it's probably the best thing to do is go with your daughter.
Absolutely. But if she want to go only with that.
Don't be what I'm saying, but like, I'm not just talking about even outside of, like, you know, the religion, it makes sense.
Absolutely.
And then it makes more sense when you're like, go with your dad, go with your uncle, go with you know, everyone else. So, you know,
a wolf would attack the sheep that's alone, not in the group.
I always tell everybody, you know, lions, they are some of the, because you're right, they're so great. Lions, they attack it, they fight in a pack, and they go after the one weak one.
They
don't never go after the bull, because the bull, they know they don't want the horns.
No.
Yeah.
Absolutely. One last thing I want to ask you about is nails in general for women, especially in a training facility like in the dojo.
Yeah.
I noticed some of the students, female students, they come with those artificial long nails like that. And you know, I'm lucky that I don't have to deal with this. I only work out with males
with the guys
because of my religion. But other people do, and it's a problem. So what can be done about that?
Well, I totally am against it. I've always, you guys got to cut those nails. You can't come to class with nails like this. But when they're there, I don't want to do this. Take those nails off or get off the mat. That's kind of a very hard stance. So then that's like, okay, well, you got to train doing something else, or you can't train to the fullest. And I keep trying to tell people, when you're doing something, sometimes it makes sense to just go with the etiquette of what is going on. Like if I go to someone's house and they say, please take off your shoes. Just take off your shoes.
Yeah, or no smoking.
Or no smoking. You know, now people who are smoking, they give anyway. But you're like, I have this rule at our school. So what I do is I say, if you take your hand like this and you take your fingers and you do this, it should not hurt. Because if I'm grappling with you and I happen to grab the side of your cheek or right here, and it's accidental, but I need to work. I need to learn how to really grab somebody. A person shouldn't feel like they've been scratched up and are walking home and like, look at all these scratches on my face. And then I also like to say, you know, under your nails, there's a little bit of your own, you know, your own body bacteria and whatever. We don't need to transfer those things. So I'm very much against toenails being long, hands being long. I saw a girl one time fighting, throw an axe kick and cut another girl in her face because the kick came down and normally it would have just been a point, but it came down and her nail was sharp and and she turned her foot a little bit sideways. And just think of a nail going sideways.
Yeah.
With the power of a foot dropping. It's very powerful. So I'm against it.
Yeah.
And you gotta, like, sometimes you have to, you don't want to kick people out. Sometimes it's like you want to say, okay, please fix that, because it's problematic for you learning better. And you hope that they start to understand that. Not everybody understands that some of the rules we put out there are for their benefit.
Yes.
And it makes it easier for them to learn. And I mean, that's probably goes across every
even for me, I always like to keep very short.
Yeah.
When I have them this short, I could do push-ups on my fists.
Yeah.
Because I have no nails. If it's long, even a little bit, I can't because it just hurts.
Yeah.
How's it gonna work for?
Not even that. Like when you do an S grip.
Yeah.
Or if you're doing a gable grip and your fingers are long and you got to come and do a gable grip, it's all those other stuff. Like for me, like today I was shooting. I don't like having long nails. I want to make sure when I'm there and I'm pressing, I feel that comfort zone in there. My finger's not in the way. And if you have a long nail, how do you even get that? You have to kind of like, you have to put your finger in. You can't have
that's not a good feeling.
Yeah, you can't have good trigger discipline because the nail because you'd have to pull your nail out, and to me, nails they can be pretty, but they shouldn't be in training for these type of things.
Exactly. Thank you very much, Sensei. I enjoyed our meeting today, and the material that was covered is actually very important.
No, I love what I do, and I love having students like yourself, and training with you guys, and I try to make things as practical and as simple as possible, but effective. So
I remember once I grappled with you. Oh man!
What happened?
And when you put your weight on me, okay, you win. That's it. I can't breathe.
Yeah,
I can't breathe.
Yeah, and not even that. But the funny thing is, a lot of people don't realize that I can get around people that fast.
Oh yeah.
And then when I get around you that fast, you're like, where'd that big guy go?
Yeah, I'm not gonna grapple this guy anymore.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it. Awesome. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you again hopefully soon. Have a good day. Bye. All right.
Oh, I hope that's not a problem. Oh, you turn it over around. Okay. I didn't want to. I realized I was like halfway through. Like halfway through, I was like, "Oh my god, it's just backwards."
But I was like, "I'm not gonna even fix it because it would be."